our first guests have come into the studio from Search. I'm not going to tell you about Search because I'm sure that'll come up as Wendy chats with them. Anyway, Chris Tait and I don't know your name actually. And Avril Scott are here to talk with Wendy.
Well, can I just welcome you both? Welcome, Chris, and welcome, Avril.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Lovely to see you. Now, we've already ascertained that you work for Search. Now, Search is a charity that provides service for older people and their carers, and you're based in the west of Newcastle, I believe. Okay, can you tell us a bit about what Search is all about, its history and what you do now?
I can, yes. I mean, Search is celebrating its 40th birthday this year. Started in the late 70s as a voluntary project, originally set up by the North East Pensioners Association, as they were called. It developed from a voluntary organisation to pure voluntary to paid workers, and it's come over the 40 years. From 1979, I think, we're incorporated. It's a little bit older than that, but it's effectively 40 this year.
Yeah. So what kind of activities do you provide for people over 55? I think it's the key.
Older people. It depends what service you're accessing, actually.
Yeah.
But broadly, we offer activities for people, socialisation, get people out of the house and meet other people. We have volunteering opportunities. We provide information and advice, so people can access information about benefits and housing. We can be a first point of call for a lot of different things. We would signpost people on as well if we couldn't help them directly. Yeah. So it's the whole of life, really.
Yeah. And is it just for people in the West End?
Essentially, yes. Yeah. Yes. We're working in the West End and the Outer West as well. Most recently, we've got a project which has just started in the Outer West, which is where Avril lives, actually.
Yes, yeah.
So we're expanding slowly.
Okay, well, can I ask what... Now, there's two parts of the organisation. There's the services you provide and there's paid workers, obviously.
Oh, yes.
But we're kind of zeroing in on the volunteers, you know, the people who help you do your activities. I mean... Before we speak to Avril about what she does, how many people do you have as volunteers?
Well, we've got nearly 70 volunteers at the moment, and people come and commit themselves to. Some people do a few days a week, other people just do a few hours a month, so we can accommodate both. And really, any skill is useful to us. We can find roles for people, depending on what they want out of the role as well. So we have, for example, a small project doing tea and tech, show people how to use tablet computers. We have a lunch club, we have a buy and bite, and it's all about helping other people access services.
Right.
So the volunteer is very important to us. As I say, we've got nearly 70 at the moment,
right,
all active.
Right. Well, before we kind of talk about generally volunteering, I want to bring Avril in at this stage because you are a volunteer there, Avril.
Yeah.
What is it that you do for Search?
Every other Monday afternoon I go and work in the office. I answer the telephone. I'm involved in the fundraising, and I also do a Tai Chi class where I do the register and collect the cash and take it to the office.
And is this a kind of continuation of what you did in your working life?
I was a bookkeeper
in
my working life, so yes, I'm used to answering the telephone and I'm used to handling.
Yeah, so you're continuing to use your skills now. Yeah. What do you think you get from doing it?
The social side of it, just giving something back to society.
Yeah, but what about the people you meet? You know, I mean, what about any new skills perhaps that you've?
The new skills have come from learning Tai Chi, which is great. It's wonderful for older people, and a lot of people that live on their own. It's a good outlet because you don't need to go with anybody. You can just turn up at these groups and everybody's friendly and pleasant and you know, welcoming. wherever you go.
Yeah. Well, we'll continue with the benefits of volunteering, but for Search, and one of his volunteers, Avril Scott. Welcome back. Right, we started talking about the benefits that volunteering can bring in, and Avril's given us a bit of a flavour of what she gets from it. Perhaps, Chris, as the coordinator, you can see maybe a wider overview of what volunteers get, because you see them when they first come.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit?
Volunteers come for a wide variety of reasons. I mean, naturally, we have roles fitted to people that benefit Search as an organisation, which is the primary function, really, but we try and ensure that the volunteers get something out of it as well. So perhaps, as an example, somebody might be a little bit less confident in life due to some crisis, so volunteering can be a good way back into, say, the working world. So a little bit of a gentler way back in, so we can build people's confidence like that and give them new skills as well, so they can move on to other things.
Right.
And this has happened a few times. We've successfully brought people through and given them perhaps that confidence to go and find work, having been out of it for a while. So we've had a few successes like that as well. That's quite a good example of how we move people on.
So it's quite a wide age range of volunteers that you have. Picking up that.
We do tend to be. We don't have any age restrictions for volunteering. We do tend to be at the older end, but we do encourage young people to come and help us as well. I think the youngest people we've had are probably in their 40s.
Right.
The oldest are well into their 80s.
Right. Avril, how did you get involved in Search?
It was through a friend of mine that went to the flower class, flower arranging, which is something I always wanted to do, but when you're working you don't find time for activities that way, so I got involved by going to the class.
Right, yeah. Now, I know all charities are dependent on a cash flow or whatever, and so fundraising is, I presume, part of the volunteers in their remit. Some are part.
Well, it is, yes. Yeah. We've got quite a full programme of community fundraising this year as well, and one of those activities is a zip wire challenge. Which Avril is going to. Avril's actually our oldest zip wire participant at the moment. I'm doing it as well, but perhaps Avril can tell us a little bit more about that.
I don't know what to say about the zip wire. I've been told to go and practice, but I don't want to, because if I went to practice somewhere, I don't think I'd have the courage to do it.
How do you practice zip wiring? That's But when are you going to be doing it?
It's on the 13th of April at 1:30 off the Tyne Bridge.
Yeah, it's a Saturday lunchtime. And we are looking for sponsorship for that, so please get in touch with us if you'd like to.
Yes, please.
Right, you heard it, listeners. But how do you get people involved? You know, Avril's came to a class, you know.
Well, we advertise through certainly the Elders Council and volunteering centre in Newcastle as well, but a lot of it's word of mouth. I go out and speak to people face to face and encourage people to come and do more for us. That tends to be the best way, if you can build up trust, and because we have a lot of people who access our services that don't volunteer. If I can get out and talk to them face to face and encourage them to come and do some volunteering with us, that tends to be the best way to do it, rather than just advertising roles. But we do that as well, but we tend to do it face to face.
Perhaps if somebody has some particular skills, would you be open to them coming along and saying, I would like to do this? Would that be something?
We do that. Certainly, as an example, our most popular activities are craft-based activities, and we're always looking for people who do have those skills and can actually teach. We are trying to move a lot of our activities to be voluntary-led, rather than paid tutors.
Right.
Sometimes you need people with those skills. We have to pay people,
Right.
but we do like to have volunteers leading activities as well.
Yeah.
And we have had some success in that as well.
Do you have any particular needs at the moment that you maybe our listeners might be just the people you need?
One for a gardener. Unfortunately, both our gardeners have left relatively recently, and we have a small community garden at the back of the office, which needs perhaps an hour a week or a couple of hours a fortnight. So if anybody, they would have fairly free reign to do what they want as long as it stays tidy. So that's one particular role. But I would encourage people to get in touch with me if they do have any particular skills.
Right, so that leads us quite nicely into how do people contact you if they would like to volunteer?
Okay, well, we have a phone number, which is 01912737443, or we're based on Adelaide Terrace in Benmore, 74 Adelaide Terrace. We have the office is open for the advice drop-in, or anything else for that matter, between 10 and 1. Or we have the website as well, which is www.searchnewcastle.org.uk.
Yeah, it's quite a comprehensive website because I had a look at it.
Yeah, Google Search Newcastle and you'll find it.
Yes. Okay, well, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Avra, for coming along and giving us a flavour of Search and what you do.
Thank you, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.